Hello everyone, this is David and welcome again to tonight's chat, our discussion on creating a positive cash flow. And I think it's very, very important that each person really understands the basic fundamentals of money and how to generate it, how to make it, how to manage it, how to multiply it. And I think it is to be regretted, really, that we were not taught the value of money as children. As a matter of fact, most of us grew up with negative beliefs and negative attitudes about money, and that has really hurt us, really hurt us in the long run in our lives. And I think it's good that we have good instruction where this is concerned, because especially in these days, in these times we're in, with a harsh economic climate, with things falling, companies failing, people failing, health care costs bankrupting more people now than any other cost. It's so important for us to have the right positive attitude about money and to know how to intelligently generate it. Because I have to say this now, just relying on one source of income does not work anymore in the 21st century. And too many people are being really stressed out. And as a result of the stress, it's affecting their health, affecting their relationships, affecting their marriages, affecting their performance in every way possible. So dealing intelligently with finances can really, as we mentioned in our article, help really be your salvation. Let's just put it that way. Okay. And this is in keeping with our goal and our mission to help people understand what really matters where health is concerned and why we sometimes lose our health. That's number one, the foundation. And like I said at the beginning, more and more I begin to realize just how important it is for us to understand the relationship between our finances and our physical and mental health. And yes, even spiritual health to some degree. And then once we understand that these are important, then our goal is to point you to the best resources out there to help you, in this case, generate income for yourself on a consistent, continuous basis. And I have to tell you, Greg is one of the best out there in teaching and working with people, one-on-one especially, and that's his passion, when people work towards better managing and multiplying their finances. And I'm very honored and really happy that he could make the time to do this. And apparently he enjoys doing it, so that's a good thing for us, because that means we can always get him back on to talk more. We really appreciate it, Greg, you coming on. All right. Before I introduce our guest speaker tonight, that's our vision in front of you. And if you're listening on the phone, it is this: to be recognized as a trusted resource for obtaining valuable and practical information related to health, strength, and human effectiveness. All right, Greg began his financial services practice in 1982 after his service as a missile launch officer in the Air Force. He has a bachelor's degree in communications, a master's degree in guidance and counseling. He also has been certified as a coach with Franklin Covey's 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. Greg is uniquely qualified as a coach because of his education and long-term experience. As a business owner and entrepreneur for the past 29 years, he knows what it takes to set realistic objectives and reach them. Because of his own successful financial coaching business, Greg has the insight to assist people to achieve their financial objectives. Through the course of his career, he has consulted financial corporations and has served as an adjunct faculty member at the University of Phoenix and Salt Lake Community College. And really, this just doesn't do justice to Greg's expertise. I mean, that's just what's on paper, but a lot of wisdom and experience has been packed into these 30 years of working with people and corporations where finances are concerned. So again, Greg, thank you so much for coming on.
You bet. Thank you. Thanks for having me again, David. It's it's interesting. You can teach a person can teach a lot of things in life, but one thing that no one can teach someone else is experience.
Mm-hmm.
and I'm happy to say after all these 3 decades, I've got the experience to where, I'm happy to say I've seen it all, and I know what works and what doesn't work, and I never ask a client to do something that I'm unwilling to do myself. And so what you didn't mention, of course, I didn't I haven't put on my biography yet, but my wife and I have 5 different incomes in our family. And so we know how to start businesses and work with other businesses and people. And if you get better and better at that, you can add an additional income as appropriate to your lifestyle. So I just want to say that up front. I'm not an academician. Academician? I don't know. I can't even say it because I don't want to be it.
Who cares?
Who cares? And I don't want to be that college professor who knows how to talk the talk but doesn't walk the walk. I love being out in the trenches and working with people all across the country, and even in Canada, most of the provinces in Canada, most of the states in the United States, I have clients, and I just really love what I do. So, and talking about your mission statement, David, I have my purpose statement, my mission statement as a businessman, right above my computer screen in my office, and it says, the purpose of my business is to improve the financial well-being and quality of life for my clients. Now, I wrote this out about 22 years ago, and you know what? I feel just as strongly and passionate about that today as I ever have. And that people I work with, I absolutely am committed to improving their financial well-being and the quality of life for my clients, as I know you do too, David, in your Building Strength webinars. So, having said that, David, I mean, there's so many directions we can launch off on. Did you want to have me recap some things that we talked about a month ago, or how do you want me to go forward? Because I want to be as accommodating as possible.
Well, absolutely, Greg. Thank you for that. Yes, some of the people who are on this call probably would not have, were not privy to our last conversation. And of course, this is being recorded as well. And if this is the first introduction to you, I think it would be great for us to recap what we did last time and lay the foundation for what it takes to help people make money in this day and age. Yes.
Okay, and I've got several points here from our last time, David, and you mentioned something in the introduction that I just want to touch upon, is that I have found that most people subconsciously or unbeknownst to them really bring forth a lot of baggage from their childhood into their adulthood, and they bring forward some very dysfunctional at times and scarcity at times belief systems that inhibit them, if not prevent them, from really being the kind of person they are deep down, and they end up living so much of their life with fear and anxiety and stress. And you absolutely don't have to live that way, as I know you don't live that way, David, and I don't live that way. And in that, I've noticed that at times when I've come across new clients, for sure, that many of them feel that they are inadequate and will never have enough, and being stressed and struggling in life is just part of being an adult. And I'm happy to say that doesn't have to be the way it is, and people can move away from their past if it's dysfunctional and move away to some very healthy styles if they're open to doing so. And we talked about last time is that when I give seminars, I typically open up with this question: between our 3 major resources in life, our time, our health, and our money, what is the most important? And then I ask the audience, and I get all kinds of answers. Some people say, oh, absolutely, time. I've got to, time is the most important resource. Other people say, oh, my health. I mean, because without health, there's no wealth, and they have a very strong belief system about that. Other people say money. Oh, the most important resource in our lives is money, because without money, I can't afford better health, and I can't afford to spend my time the way I'd like to. Well, and after I get people thinking, and I get all three different answers to the same question, I give them a bit of a zinger, and I say, actually, the most important resource in your life is the one you have the least amount of. And that's an important thing to remember, because if someone is of excellent health and has plenty of money for what they would like to do with their lives, then to them, their time, being able to have many, many years of time left to enjoy that, is important to them. And so, and of course, we know that people without health, that becomes a major, major concern or resource that they want to have in their lives to restore their health so they can enjoy their time and money. So that's important to know, that just because something is important to us doesn't mean that it's important to everybody else. And so there are some things that are common to everyone in our society, i.e. living within your means, practicing good health habits, managing the priorities in your life with a quality of life. But then everybody has their unique situations also that are absolutely unique to their particular circumstance. For instance, I work with people, I have clients who live only on their Social Security income. Granted, over the years, we've got them out of debt, so they have, typically my clients who live only on Social Security have no debt. They typically grow a nice garden in the spring, summer, and fall, and enjoy the wonderful fruits and vegetables of their garden. They don't spend a lot of money on eating dinner out, or they don't take all the grandkids to Disneyland once a year, and they enjoy the good life in their home. And on the other side, I work with clients who are multi-millionaires, who have just a ton of money, and they have unique circumstances like anybody else, and many of them struggle with just trying to live within their means, because there's always more land to buy, more cars to buy, more vacations to go on, more presents to give people at holidays, on and on and on. And so whether a person has a very small net worth, or whether someone has a large net worth, or someone makes very little money, or someone who makes a lot of money, we all still have the three major resources in our life, and that's our time, health, and money. So I was doing a session today with a lady in her mid-50s in a southern state here in the U.S., and we were talking about one of her financial strengths. And I asked her, so what do you believe one of your financial strengths might be? And she said without hesitation, living within my means. And I thought, wow, what a great answer. That one of her financial strengths, and she has several, is living within her means. And then, because this was our first session for this year, we also evolved talking about what is something you want to be better at or do better this year financially. And one of the things she said is that she wants to manage her cash flow a bit better, because even though she lives within her means, she wants to save a little bit more at the end of each month. So what a great attitude. What a great attitude she has. By the way, she has two incomes. She has a job at a health food store. You'd like that, David. She works at a health food store and loves that, and loves all the customers and being around that kind of product. And she also has a home-based business of where she does taxes for people. And so she has a clientele that every winter and spring she does people's taxes for a little bit extra income. So is that possible? Yes. You know, the best job or the best business to have is the one that you really want to have. And when you keep your priorities in line, as we talked about a month ago, and I mentioned this, the top priority is you make your charitable contributions to other people, places, and things because you want to. You pay Uncle Sam or your taxes because you need to. You pay yourself, you pay your taxes because you have to. You pay yourself because you need to, and then you live on the rest. So we talked about those priorities. Charitable donations because you want to, Uncle Sam because you have to, you pay yourself something because you need to, and then you live on the rest. And what a great way to have a quality of life when you keep those priorities in mind. Let's see. Okay, another point we talked about, as I alluded to earlier, is that the best people and the easiest people to work with are people who are willing to be better and do better. And whenever someone says to me, oh, I just can't do that, I reply to them, you're right. And on many occasions, I've had people have that silence on the phone, or if I'm in person with them, they just kind of look at me because they say, oh, I can't do that. And I say, you're right. You can't do that. And they look at me like, well, what do you mean? And I explain to them, well, you can't do that because you say you can't. And if you say you can't do something, it's another way of saying you don't want to do something. See, if someone says, oh, I just cannot have a home-based business, I would say, you're right. You can't have a home-based business. Really? Why? Because you're unwilling to do it. Right? So sometimes we adults confuse the word can't with I don't want to. And wisdom to be open to when you say you can't do something, when you're really saying to yourself, I don't want to do it. And, of course, the world will let you not do whatever you don't want to do. Okay, another point we talked about. It's not what you make monetarily, it's what you keep. You see, that widow client of mine who makes $1,200 a month in Social Security, she's fine. She's happy. She has all the money she needs. In fact, she actually saves a couple $100 a month with her $1,200 Social Security check. Why? Because she understands it's not what you make, it's what you keep. And it's living within your means and having the lifestyle that you want. So if you want to have more in life, there's only two things you can do, one or two things to do. If you want to have more money, you either increase your income or you decrease your expenses. You either increase your income and or decrease your expenses. I was just on the phone today with one of my clients who is a professional person here in another state, and he makes $1 million a year. And this last year he made a little bit less than $1 million, and he's really ticked off. And so already in the first couple weeks of January, he is hitting it hard, and he's doing things so that he's going to make more than $1 million this year because that's what he wants to do. So he's not going to decrease his expenses $1. He still has all the expenses he always has each year, but he's going to increase his income back to the $1 million a year because it took a little bit of a dip in 2011. So there's an example of just because if you want more money, you can increase your income and not spend a dime less. Or you can decrease your income if you'd like and also decrease your expenses to have more money. So a home-based business is a wonderful way to supplement your income. And I think, let's see, of my 5 incomes, 3 of those 5 incomes are a home-based business. Let's see. I think does that kind of give? Well, one other thing to round this off, and then I'll ask David if I used up my 10 minutes here, and that is, you know, in our lives, it's never really about money, and it's not really about health and time. You know what our lives are really about? It's the quality of life that we want to have. So when we talk about time management or health management or money management, why do we talk about those 3 major resources? Because they're all part of the formula that gives us a quality of life. And I haven't come across anybody in my last 30 years who has said, I don't care about my quality of life. In fact, just the opposite. Everybody who I get a chance to talk to, more than just being a social on the surface, everybody I get to talk to who starts to share with me what's important and not important to them, all have the common denominator, and that is, how can I improve the quality of my life? So, with that in mind, David, does that kind of give us a little bit of recap and overview from what we talked about a month ago?
Yes, I think it does. I think it does. Great job recapping. And I think that puts a good foundation for us to launch on. And I know some of the people on the call that actually specifically asked about the options out there and how to build income from home, especially if you're a stay-at-home mom, for instance, and you basically can't get a job for obvious reasons. And those who don't have enough substantial amount to invest in big-time businesses. I mean, what can they do starting right now to create that positive cash flow?
Yes. Okay. Well, you know, a positive cash flow is, by definition, at the end of the month, having more money left over than what you've spent, right? So we could say, David, the first step or an immediate step a person can take to have a positive cash flow would be to decrease expenses. Would you agree on that?
I would agree. If that were possible, though.
Yeah.
Some people would say it's not possible.
Oh yeah, if that was possible, sure. Now, I'm not, and of course, the emphasis tonight is not going to be on decreasing expenses. That's for another seminar. This is about home-based business and increasing income. But one thing to keep in mind is that we have 100% control over our expenses or how we spend our money. See, we can control the thermostat in our home to raise or lower our heating bill in the winter. We have control over how many miles we want to drive a day in our car. Or, in fact, some people, like a client I have in San Francisco, they don't even have a car. Or somebody who lives in New York City, in Manhattan, many of those people don't even have a car because they don't want to have the expense that a car and parking entails in a major urban city, where other people who, for instance, I've got clients in the Midwest who they feel they can't live without not only a car but a truck, and a truck that gets low gas mileage that they can drive 100 miles a day back and forth on their errands and so forth. So what I want to just make it real clear that the quickest and most immediate way to increase your positive cash flow is to decrease your expenses. And what will happen if you decrease your expenses however you want to do that, at the end of the month, you will have more money left over. Okay, so let's talk about, though, the other positive way. Decreasing your income is a way to increase your positive cash flow. But let's talk about how to increase your income and to give you more positive cash flow. Now, David and I were talking about a home-based business, and I've talked and consulted with a lot of people, hundreds and hundreds of people, on having a home-based business. And the first question, well, let me set the stage with this. I learned early on that when someone would come to me and say, you know, I want to make more money. I want to have a business I can work out of my home so I can get tax write-offs, and I don't have to drive my car, and I can be my own boss. You know, there's a litany of positive things about having your own home-based business. And I would say, okay, so you want to have a home-based business. Is there anything particular that you would like to have a business with? And they said, well, not really. Do you have any ideas? And I said, sure, I've got tons of ideas. Have you ever thought about? And then I would mention something, and then as soon as I would mention it, they would say, oh, no, I can't do that. Oh, okay. Well, how about this? No, I can't do that either. Have you ever considered having a business in this area? No, that won't work. And on and on. So do you see where I'm heading with this? So I learned very quickly that if I can have a million different ideas on how to make $1 million, but if the other person says, no, I can't do that, for whatever reason, they're right. They're right. They would never make $1 million doing working my suggestion or idea, because they know immediately that they can't do it, or what we talked about earlier, they're unwilling to do it, right? I can't do it is the same thing as saying I'm unwilling to do it.
Right. Well, now let me play the other side a little bit, Greg. What if, and I don't know what the specifics of these situations you're referring to. What if, well, for some reason, maybe the person is not much of a salesperson, and I guess that's the mindset that many people have. They have to be a salesperson to do some home-based businesses. I mean, aren't there some fits in the vast array of home-based business opportunities that would resonate with a person's specific personality profile, character, skill set, and all those things?
Oh, yes.
Surely.
Absolutely. And I would be okay to say that I think that most people are not good salesmen, and they don't want to be good salespeople, and they would rather die than have to sell something to someone else. Okay? So maybe let's take along that line, David, and maybe and this is very spontaneous, David, what is some things a person can do in a home-based business that they would not have to sell to make money in a home-based business? How about if I mention a couple, and then, David, you pick up, okay?
Okay.
Okay. Being a courier. I was just on the phone today with a lawyer who's looking for a courier who can work out of their home, run over to their office, and then deliver documents and so forth to other law firms in his city. This courier doesn't have to sell anybody anything. They just pick up the documents at point A, take them to point B, and turn in their travel voucher and get compensated per hour of their time. Okay? How about somebody who delivers newspapers? We get a newspaper every day on our front porch. I've never even seen the newspaper person. They come in the morning when I'm still sleeping and put a paper on our front porch. I don't even know who they are. I don't know if it's a 12-year-old kid or whether it's an 80-year-old person. All I know is that we pay somebody to drop a newspaper on our front porch every day. And they didn't have to sell us at all. We actually called up the newspaper place and said, hey, how much are you going to charge us to deliver a newspaper each day? Let's see. What else? I'm thinking of what my clients do. Oh, how about medical data entry? How about being at your home and for a couple of hours or more a day, you enter medical data information? How much selling is that? Or how about people who are employed by Google or Wikipedia and other places where they just enter information on their computer at home. They don't have to sell anybody anything.
Or if they can calls or customer service rep kind of thing for
Sure.
Okay.
Sure. I'll give you a quick example as I'm just, again, being spontaneous and going through my Rolodex of clients. I've got a client in Arizona who works about 6 hours a day counseling people with terminal cancer. So she has phone appointments with people with terminal cancer, and she's been trained to help them anywhere from companionship to making sure that they're taking their medicine, to making sure that if it's a hospice situation, they're being taken care of, so forth. She doesn't have to sell anybody anything. People call her.
Now,
I've got. Go ahead.
If I may ask, I mean, these are all great ideas that you're throwing out. And again, you're being spontaneous. How do people find these varieties of jobs that they can look at and say, okay, this is something that's more like me, or that is something that is more like me? And by the way, this lady you're talking about, who's your client, I would love to meet her because I'm particularly interested in cancer support, supporting cancer patients and all that. So hopefully we can connect us afterwards or something. But tell us about this. How our audience members can find these jobs, these flexible jobs.
Okay. The question I've learned to ask people when I start to counsel them on starting a home-based business is I ask them this major question: what are you passionate about? What are you passionate about? Are you passionate about, let's just take someone who loves to get up early in the morning. They love to get up and have a fresh cup of coffee and get out the door and pick up their papers and spend an hour going around a neighborhood and putting papers on porches, and they get home in time, and they might have a 8 to 5 or a 9 to 5 job somewhere, and they make an extra couple $100 a month or more with the early morning paper out. It snowed in Salt Lake City a couple days ago, and so while I was laying in bed, which, by the way, David, I'm the first to admit I get up at the crack of 7 every day. That's supposed to be funny. Are you there, David?
I'm here.
Anyway, I get up at the crack. Okay, I get up at the crack of 7. In other words, I like sleeping in. So I'm sitting there, laying there in bed, and I'm hearing this truck outside in the morning, about 6:30 in the morning, and I get up, and our driveway is cleaned of snow. The streets are cleaned of snow, and I see this pickup truck with a front-end loader on it going out down the street, and I say to myself, hey, this guy just made a couple $100 in the last couple hours, right?
Right.
He takes his pickup truck that he can't do without, and every winter he throws a front-end loader on it, or a blade, or whatever you call those things, and he has a little route of people who pay him to remove snow from their driveway and from their private street. Okay, what a great home-based business, right?
Right.
Okay, so now I know it might seem strange to some people on the phone call tonight or the webinar, but David, you know, there's actually people who love plowing snow.
Well,
they're passionate, and they love it when it snows because they can get in their pickup truck and go scrape parking lots and driveways and roadways, and they actually get paid for scraping snow around. There's people who love doing that.
all right. Well, we might have to look for a better a more example, because looking at my audience, most of them are ladies, so they would probably cringe at the thought. So
Okay, Very good. So we know that they would be very passionate about that. I know of somebody in our family who she works from home, and she makes phone calls for a large corporation to their customers to do a survey. Right? She doesn't sell them anything. She calls people who have already purchased this company product, and she asks them if she can ask them a few questions. She doesn't have to sell them anything. They've already bought the product. She asks them questions like, how long have you had the product? Are you happy with the product? Would you recommend the product to anybody else? Is there anything we can do to help you?
Okay. Okay.
No selling in that, but you do have to have a voice and an ear, and of course, if you speak English and Spanish, even more better, right? Or it's even to your advantage. Okay.
Right.
So, okay. So, being passionate about something. Now, I will back off and say, if someone says, I am passionate about nothing, you know, maybe I'm passionate about watching Judge Judy every afternoon at 3 o'clock on TV. I don't know how you can make money at that, but maybe if you've created enough, maybe you can. Or maybe people are passionate about watching their favorite soap opera every afternoon. I'm not offhand, I don't know how you can make money at that, but being creative, there's probably a way. A second level, or a second question is, okay, well, so maybe you're not passionate about anything in particular. Is there something you think you would enjoy doing or tolerate doing, right?
Okay.
And if you want to make money, more money, bad enough, what is something that you think you might enjoy doing or something that you might tolerate doing? So I would have to say the person who's a courier for this person happens to be in California and with medical records. She picks up, she works for an insurance company, and she uses her own car, and she works like from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. in the afternoon, driving around a city of about 100,000 people in California. So, you know, I mean, it's not like she's driving in downtown L.A. or driving in downtown San Francisco or Oakland. She's driving in a farming community in Central California, and she drives around and picks up medical records from Hospital A and drives them over to Hospital B, and then drives home and to different places, and she gets paid per hour, plus she gets reimbursed nicely for her car that she uses. Now, no one cares if she's driving a 2011 Toyota Camry or if she's driving a 1995 Geo Prism. No one cares. What her boss does care is, can you pick up medical records from Hospital A and take them over to Hospital B? Mm-hmm. So, is she passionate about her job as a courier for this insurance company? Probably not. But it's pretty easy money.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
And so she doesn't have to be passionate about it. She doesn't really need to even enjoy it. All she has to be willing to do is to take documents from point A to point B and turn in her vouchers.
Okay. Okay. Well, sure. That makes sense. But I have a couple of questions on that.
Sure.
I mean, the prevailing attitude is that even jobs like that are hard to get, hard to find in this country, especially in these harsh economic climates. And besides that, those are, I mean, they're still flexible, yes, but they're still jobs.
Yeah.
How do we get to the point where we're talking about a home-based business that the person has a bit more control over and has control over the multiplication of the funds? Because it doesn't matter how the problem with the scenario scenarios you've painted is that there's a limit to what the person can do. I mean, an hour is still an hour. It doesn't matter how well she drives through the traffic. She's still going to be paid that same
Right.
base rates.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, I think it would be safe to say that the people who want to make really good money, really big money, where they get paid a lot for a little bit of effort and they get paid a lot, you have to be passionate about what you do. And so I have never come across anybody who gets paid a lot for something that they're not passionate about. You know, if you look at any professional person in sports or performing or so forth, I mean, you take an example of, say, like a Tony Bennett. Most people know Tony Bennett. He's been singing now for, what, 50, 60 years now? Well, I'll tell you, you talk about a person who is absolutely passionate about his profession, that's Tony Bennett. And there's no doubt in my mind that with the passion Tony Bennett has for his performing, that he makes multi, tens, 20 millions of dollars in that passion. So I don't think someone can just tolerate a job and make big bucks. I've got clients who are in multi-level marketing companies where in these well-known MLM companies, they have supplemental nutritionals and what do you call it? I don't know what you call it when you put stuff on your face. What do you call it? Hair and face.
Skincare lines.
Skincare. Yeah, skincare line. I'm not one of those people that. So I just, you know, I brush my teeth and that's all I need to do. Okay. So, but there are people who are very passionate about skincare products, right? And there's people who are very passionate about supplements. Pardon?
Didn't say anything. We just
I come across people. In fact, I coach people. Oh, I'm sorry, David. You're breaking up just a bit. What's that?
Yeah, I think the system was breaking
David,
up. I didn't say anything. Yeah. Can you hear me, Greg?
Okay. Oh, yeah, I can hear you now. Yeah, and there's people who are extremely passionate about putting magnets on your body. You know, who have magnets in their shoes and magnets in their belts and magnets in the collars of their shirts, and they sleep on magnets, and they are underneath crystals, and they have certain perfumes that are in their home. You know, I mean, if you start to look at the MLM industry, it is unlimited what a person can do when they have some passion. I have a daughter-in-law who is passionate about pots and pans and cooking. And so she goes around to people's homes and does these kind of cooking parties, and they have all kinds of kitchen utensils that complement people who like to cook. I'm not passionate about that, but she is, and she makes an income from it as a full-time homemaker. You know, she has 4 children, four of our grandchildren are in that home, and they range from age 6 to age 13. So she's a busy person who supplements my son's income with income of her own because she's doing what she loves to do. She's passionate about it. And she makes good money per hour, right? It's not just $10 an hour. Right. For every hour she puts into her business, she's making probably more like 30, 40 bucks an hour.
Right. That's pretty good.
And she deserves it. She deserves it because she's passionate about it. So I think if you want to make a lot of money, you find something that you're absolutely passionate about, like I do with my coaching, my financial coaching. I am absolutely passionate about it. I'm more passionate today about it than I was 30 years ago when I started, and that it serves me very well. emotionally and financially. And so I know of what I speak. If you want to make a lot of money, you locate what you can be really passionate about. And if you want to make a little bit of money, find something that you can enjoy or tolerate, and you can make some money at that too. Not a lot, but you can make something.
Now we have to mention here, folks, that Greg is actually in the top 1% of income earners in the country. So he knows what he's talking about. But I'm a little concerned. I really was a little concerned during the whole Wall Street riots and what they call them again, Greg?
Oh, I'm sorry. The Wall Street what?
Well, it wasn't the Wall Street riots. It was
you mean the Occupy Wall Street?
Oh, that's right. The Occupy Wall Street protest. I hope
Yes.
your house wasn't in jeopardy during that time.
No, I have compassion for people who are so off base in their thinking that they put lots of time and energy trying to change other people instead of themselves.
Right.
Yeah. The most successful people in life are the ones who don't focus on what other people are doing, but they stay focused on how they, as individuals, can be better and do better.
Absolutely, and that's the way it should be. But I want to touch on what you mentioned. Some people, I want us to clarify this. Some people may think that, well, the only reason why I need to go into multi-level marketing business or any other kind of business is if I want to make a lot of money. But some people just don't want to make a lot of money. They just want to make a decent amount of income, take some pressure off, and live decently. And they're looking for what are the options? How would I, for instance, if I were in my 50s, a stay-at-home mom, my kids have all gone to school, they're married, they have kids of their own. Well,
yeah.
But I need money, and I want to take some pressure off. Where would I start, for instance? Where would she start?
Okay.
How do you take her through that process?
Yeah. Okay. I think where a person can start, again, explaining that person maybe has been a homemaker a lot of their lives, or they like working out of their home and their kids are grown and gone, etc. And they want to have some kind of source of income. Where you start is you start looking in the classified ads, Craigslist. There's a lot of want ad places around that you don't pay any money for. You don't have to subscribe to some place. You just start looking through the paper, and you just start to circle things that you think you might enjoy, or you might want to experience, or something that you might be really passionate about, that you think you can work out of your home. For instance, I know somebody who makes, about an extra $500 a month or more, just helping a neighbor package things up, a product up, and taking it down to the local post office or UPS or FedEx to send it out to people who have already purchased the product. And this company would rather pay people to do that as opposed to having a big warehouse with big overhead, with health benefit costs and matching Social Security and on and on and on. They outsource it to people who want to work out of their home. Hey, here's a quick example I just thought of, David, and some of you are aware of this. I was acquainted, I was in a seminar with the owner of JetBlue, David Nealman, and he started JetBlue, about 15 years ago or so. Now, you're familiar with the airline JetBlue out of New York and California and Salt Lake City? Okay.
Yes,
you're familiar with that airline. How did they employ their customer service people at JetBlue? How do they still do it? By people out of their homes.
I've heard that. I've heard
What's
that.
that? Oh, yeah. Yeah. I've got a good friend, and this is absolutely true story. Of course, I'm always going to tell you the truth, but I just want to emphasize this. He is an attorney. They're family friends. He is about 60 years old, and his wife is about 58 years old, my age. And he's a practicing attorney, and his wife started in their home about 10 years ago with JetBlue, because at age 48, their kids were grown and gone off to college, etc. And she wanted to supplement their income and do something more than just walk around the big house with no one in it. And so she started working for JetBlue out of her home, and over the last 10 years, she's now a supervisor in her home, out of her home. She supervises other JetBlue reservation agents, and they have traveled all over the country where JetBlue flies, visiting kids and grandkids, and going on vacation to the Caribbean and other places where JetBlue flies. What a wonderful example of how to not only supplement your income, but to get free flight privileges and work out of your home.
Right.
All she has to do is take her desktop computer in a separate little office that they have in their home and strap on her headset and then just receive phone calls from people who want to book flights on JetBlue. Now, if she said 10 years ago that she can't do that, JetBlue would have said, okay, well, good luck to you. But because she says, I can't do that, she didn't say, I can't do it 10 years ago. She said, I can do that. JetBlue hired her to work out of her home, and it's been a very positive thing for that family. You know, can you imagine how expensive it would be to fly with your spouse from Salt Lake City to South Carolina to visit one of your children and your grandchildren in Charleston, South Carolina? That's really expensive.
Right.
But if you fly for free from Salt Lake to LaGuardia on JetBlue, and then you catch a JetBlue out of LaGuardia to Charleston, South Carolina to see your kids and grandkids, that's pretty inexpensive, isn't it?
Right. Right.
Okay. So I don't want to emphasize that. I'm certainly not a commercial for JetBlue, but I got to tell you, there are so many ways to make an extra dollar. It's a person's is only limited based on their passion, or their enjoyment, or their tolerance.
Okay, so I hear you. That makes sense. So to the person who is looking for an extra income, the good places to start would obviously be the common places where everybody looks to: Craigslist,
Yeah.
the Yellow Pages,
Yeah.
and all that.
Yeah, I bet I could open up my classified ads in my local newspaper today. And maybe I should have done this before we talked tonight, David, but I bet I could go to the local newspaper today, open up the classified ads, and probably find a half a dozen to a dozen invitations to work out of my home.
Well, why then are people having so much trouble in finding jobs? If it's that, I mean, this seems a lot easier. It seems very easy to me.
Well,
why just
yeah,
for getting jobs?
finding a job, in my experience, is one of the easiest things in the world. The reason why people cannot find jobs, and I have compassion for folks who struggle in life, is because they're unwilling to really step up and try something different, get involved, assert themselves, show some passion, get along with other people, and try to make a contribution to other people's lives. You know, I know I could go down the street of any street in America, any business section in America, small town or large city, and I can walk into a business and say, I would like to create value in your business. I would like to create value to where you make more money in your business. And if I do that, if I create more value and more profit in, for your business, Mr. Business Person, female, male or female, would you pay me something? What is a business owner going to say?
Yes, absolutely.
They're going to say absolutely yes, because this person has it the sequence correct, and the sequence is: if I create value in your life, would you be willing to pay me something? That's why I'm still have. That's why I work out of my home, and after these 30 years, business is great. Why? Because I say to anybody who wants to work with me, if I create value in your life, would you be willing to pay me for that? And if people say no, then I say, well, then maybe it's not the right time for us to work together. But most people say, wow, if you can show me how to reduce my taxes, if you can show me how I can have a profitable home business, if you can show me how to make more money each month, how to increase my income, decrease my expenses, if you can show me that, I'm willing to pay you something for that. I'm always employed. Okay.
So
now,
the key. So what if the person does not think she has something of value to her? I'm playing devil's advocate.
Yeah. If someone really believes that they have no value to share with somebody else, or that they cannot contribute or create value in another person's life, then their problems are a lot more serious than money. They've got some very dysfunctional beliefs and some self-esteem problems that they need more than, they don't need a job, they need a counselor. You know, and you know what I mean? And I'm not, and I know I'm kind of smiling while I'm saying that, because, and I'm not being critical of a person who struggles in their life, because I know there's people who have such a low self-esteem that they are absolutely sure that they can't do anything and they cannot contribute to another person's life, and that life is one big bummer, and then you die. There are those people out there like that, but hopefully, well, those kinds of people don't listen to you, David. The people who listen to you in your webinar are people who want to be better and do better. And if they're and those kinds of people, the sky is the limit on what they can do to contribute to other people's lives.
Right, and that's why it's called building strength. We give the tools. It's left to you to build them into your life, so you become strong in whatever area of life that's you're concerned. Yeah, good point.
That's right. You're building strength, and most everybody has the potential to build strength in their lives, but there is a very small minority in our society who, for whatever emotional or mental challenge they have in their lives, that is just they will never be able to catch on. But fortunately, that is a fraction of 1%. Has been my experience. Are people who are just in a tough situation, of which ultimately we have compassion for, not criticism.
Right. Okay, let's talk a little bit more about MLMs. Anita has a question about it, and I mean, it seems to me, and I could be wrong, but it seems to me that in times of economic hardship, it seems like the multi-level marketing companies seem to explode and proliferate, because that's when people apparently turn to them for some reason for income flow, and they really thrive in these times. want to know why that it is, and why that it would be a good idea. And I'm guessing that you would suggest or advise that everyone, regardless of their be involved to some degree in a business, because for various reasons, for tax reasons as well as obviously the obvious increased cash flow potential reason.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right. Anita has a question, and I'll let you run with this. Do you know many people who do well in MLMs, and if yes, why? And I'm assuming to say, why do they do well?
Okay, that's a very good question, which people should be asking that before they get involved in the MLM. Here's the quick answer to that question. People who do well in MLM are absolutely passionate about their product or service, because to make a lot of money in an MLM, it takes an incredible amount of effort and time and overcoming discouragement and contacting people and etc. And that's why the vast majority of people who enroll in an MLM program never make any money, and they quit and they move on to something else. Because what the MLM industry doesn't tell people, because it would discourage them from joining, that it takes an incredible amount of time and discipline and effort over many years to make a lot of money in an MLM program. But if they were honest with people and told them that up front, who would join that company?
Right.
Nobody.
Right.
Right? And so I coach. I have several big hitters in MLM companies who make tens of thousands of dollars a month in their MLM company, but they are incredibly hard workers, obsessive, compulsive people who are so passionate about making money that they're super-duper salespeople, and over the years of that sustained effort, they have been fortunate to hook up with a company that they make a lot of money with.
I see. I see.
So I wish I could say it differently. I wish I could say that it's as easy as the person in the front of the room says it's going to be, but the fact of it is probably 98%, if not more, of the people who start with an MLM company eventually drop out because they don't make money, they get discouraged, and they realize that the people who brought them in were probably not as candid as they could have been on how difficult and long hours and rejection that it takes.
Okay.
So that's what, yeah. So I don't have an MLM company that I make money with because I'm not going to pay that price. I don't want to. I can have a home-based business. I've got 3 of them that I can make money at without going the MLM route, where I'm trying to sell and influence people to join my organization of lotions, potions, and pills and stuff like that.
Right.
Extremely difficult.
Okay. Well, so apparently you kind of like hit on the on what works for you and is not that stressful. You want to share with us what these 3 businesses are?
Yeah. I'm sorry. Do I want to share what, David?
Would you like to share with us what your 3 businesses are? Because I've heard.
Oh, sure.
Yeah. It's not causing much stress for you. Well.
Well, you know, I have a financial coaching business that I talk to people all over the country, just out of my home, and probably 95% of all my coaching clients I've never seen. I've just talked to them on the phone. Okay. Another business that I have a money management business, of where I manage other people's monies, and there is a fee for my services in managing their monies. Okay. You know what, David? My Bluetooth is starting to beep. I've got to figure out how to go to my speakerphone here. Let's see. Hey, David, stand by. I'm going to see if I can go to speakerphone.
Sounds good.
Yeah. Let's see. David, are you there?
I'm here.
Okay. Oh man, I just hate to be disconnected. If by chance I get disconnected, I've been talking on the phone so much today, my battery's giving out. Okay. If I get disconnected, I will call right back in on the 516, and then with the access code, and then the active PIN of 75. Okay.
Okay. Sounds good.
Okay. So I told you two of my businesses. A third business I have is I'm a currency trader. I trade Forex currency, and over the past 7 years, I've learned how to do it successfully, and so I make an extra income that way.
Okay.
And it's out of my home. It's just off my desktop computer. You know, I don't have to sell anybody anything. I've got a system of watching charts and other things that serve me well. Okay, let's see. A fourth income I have is we have a home-based business where we sell a wonderful product, a silver salt product that my wife and I are very passionate about, and we have customers all over the country who understand that this silver salt product is what it says it is, and it really helps their health. Okay, so we've got customer base there. Let's see. Another income source that I have, home-based business, is I consult businesses on how to improve their operations, their back office operations. So whether they be a CPA firm or a law firm or a widget factory or whatever, I will, people employ me from time to time to help them get more organized in their operations of their business. Okay, now from that, seems like there's something else. Seems like there's something else I'm making money on. I forget, I don't know. I get checks coming in from different sources at different times of the month, and so far so good.
No, you're living a really tough life there, Greg.
Yeah, tough life. Now, of course, I know, too, for sure, that I don't have the computer skills that my wife has, but I know that my wife can be employed by JetBlue by doing JetBlue reservations right out off of our desktop here at home if she really wanted to, but she doesn't want to, so I don't, so what, that's okay.
Right. All right.
Yeah, but I know that if I wanted to make even more money, I could do a paper route. I could buy a pickup truck and push snow around for people. I could start a lawn care business this spring and hire a couple high school kids and have them push the lawnmower while I drive them around. I mean, it's unlimited, isn't it?
Right.
Yeah.
Well, this certainly gives people things to think about.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Something to think about. And, it's absolutely unlimited on what we can do to create value in people's lives.
Mm.
Yep.
That's great, Greg. That's really, really good. I mean, I love the way you've broken things down and just kind of like brought things to light in a simple, more straightforward way.
I was just going to say, David, the most important thing is if someone's willing, absolutely open and willing to increase their income through a home-based business, I know that there are several things they can do. But they have to be willing, and if they're not willing, well, then there's no business that they can do to make money because they're unwilling.
Right.
Okay, I wanted to say that, so okay, go ahead, David.
Good point. All right, folks, questions out there. I know Anita has an excellent question, and we have a couple more people on our website, on the webinar tonight. Go ahead and type in your questions. Obviously, those of you calling in, we won't be able to hear your questions. But you could shoot me an email, and the website is right there, buildingstrengthwebinars.com. You can contact us from there. And if you would like, Greg mentioned one of his businesses is actually coaching, one-on-one personal coaching, something he is extremely passionate and extremely good at. And so if Greg again is not looking for, he's not really looking for more work. He just likes doing this. So if you are interested and you want to consult with Greg, please contact him. Greg, you want to give out your phone number or an email address or something they can use to contact you?
Yeah. In fact, David, my direct number into my office, I'd be happy to talk to anybody who values their relationship with you, and as I know you do with them. And my direct number here in Salt Lake City is area code 801-565-0262. 565-0262, and I'm on Mountain Time, so if you call me at 8 o'clock East Coast time, it's only 6 o'clock here in the morning, and so I probably won't answer the phone.
Yeah.
Because remember I get up at the crack of 7.
Crack of 7. There you go.
Yes.
All right. Well, I don't see
Okay.
coming in, but I'm sure again we will make this recording available and kind of like send it out so people can listen to it again and again. So we will do that.
You bet.
Greg, thank you so much for your time and your wisdom. This is always wonderful just going back and forth with you and just discussing issues. And I hope you don't mind my playing devil's advocate from time to time.
Oh, no. I love people who are thinking about things. Yeah. Yeah. Well, very good, David. I'm going to go ahead and sign off before my Bluetooth automatically signs me off with no battery.
Right.
So I'll say thank you again, David, for inviting me, and hopefully I said some things that would be of value to your listening audience tonight. And then we'll keep in touch, David. And again, thank you, David, and thanks to all those who stayed with us.
Absolutely. Thank you, Greg. You have a great evening.
You bet. Thank you. Good night now.
Good night. Folks, thank you for joining us. I may be doing a presentation on Thursday. I'll keep my fingers crossed. I'll see how much work I can get done tomorrow. But thank you for joining. Stay tuned. We have some more excellent presentations coming up in January. Good night. God bless.